Hey folks, it's Chris Dessi, CEO and founder of Silverback Social and founder of the Baltimore Digital Summit in conjunction with Baltimore Ad Week. We're very excited, honored to have David Berkowitz, Chief Marketing Officer of agency MRY. He is a veteran, has spent some time with us up in Westchester, New York, and was gracious enough to come down to Baltimore, so thank you for that. We wanted to just take a minute and talk to you about your specific session and maybe some of the things that you guys are doing at agency MRY and some of your impressions of today here in Baltimore.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. So great to go up and down the seaboard with you.
Yeah.
And so it was really fun to talk about the future of both cars and mobility, right? And it was looking at the intersection of the car and the smartphone. So we actually came out with some research recently looking at that and the way people value their smartphones now in ways that people have historically valued their cars.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's something that I wasn't even expecting to get out of the research going into it. But you see this small device that people have in their pockets at all times is actually filling a lot of those roles and those needs that people have had, like to connect people with friends and family, or to experience something new, or to make buying things easier. All of this is now happening from your smartphone. And it's precisely
the comparison is just kind of blowing my mind as it's sinking in.
And you think of this like $20,000 or $50,000 purchase that costs $1,000 a month, and now you have a $500 purchase on the high end for $100 a month, and it's serving the same needs for people. And just to really cement how that's shifting, we looked at millennials here, the 18 to 34 set versus 35 plus. And there's a definite shift to how people are valuing mobile much more for a lot of the same reasons.
Absolutely mind-blowing. So then how does that, the research is fascinating, and frankly, it almost sounds fake. Like it sounds like something people value their phones just like they value their cars. Like, what? No, they don't. You're lying. Yeah. How does that drive some of the thought processes internally at agency MRY, or how can you replicate that learning to your client base? Or is this something where you're just saying, we're just going to keep our eyes wide open, our ears wide open, and see how this plays out for future client work? Is it like, what do you do with the data like that?
Well, I think what's great, one of the things I was able to show you today were a lot of examples of how some marketers, especially those that are really ahead of the curve, are tapping into a lot of those need states, maybe explicitly, maybe not, and they're just already just figuring out what works for their audience. But you look at, like, there was an app that just came out from 3M, for instance, that digitizes Post-it notes, and you can organize them within the app. Now, so this is a way to make consumers' lives easier. And yeah, you know what? It might convince people in the office to start using Post-it notes more often if it becomes that easy to then digitize and organize and share them with your teams. But that's something, it's a far cry from putting together a 30-second spot or a banner ad.
Right. So it sounds like just being at the tip of the spear and having an understanding of the way technology affects us as a culture is really the sort of energy behind everything that you guys are doing at the agency.
That's a big part of it, and it's looking where people are going, and clearly now the most important technology or gadget that people own is increasingly the smartphone. And it doesn't even mean everything has to be mobile first and everyone needs a mobile app, that kind of thing. It just needs to at least work well in any kind of situation, especially for varying screen sizes, because now the new iPhones are practically tablets, but then you're going to have much smaller form factors. The Apple Watch and the Moto 360 come out. So, but it just has to work well together, and there's going to be that expectation that whenever you want to access something, if it's ordering a pizza, right, it's got to just be as easy as like 2 taps from your phone, or you might do it from the web too, or maybe as Pizza Hut has tried, your Xbox.
Sure.
But there's increasingly that expectation, and that's the challenge for brands, because as so many of them are far behind right now, then that can really hurt the relationship with consumers and open the door for competitors, when before it might have just been, whose store is closest or whose pizza tastes better.
Sure. Now it's like the Wild West.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, I think that's the most compelling comparison that I've heard in years between the phone and a car. Absolutely thought-provoking, and I really appreciate your participating in the Baltimore Digital Summit.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Appreciate it.